Alabama did not have that sort of luxury. Brian Robinson was more productive in the second half. I liked that Alabama started to throw him the football there in the third quarter. But you figured scrimmage yards for the backs were going to be a big part of this game, and ultimately Georgia enjoyed a pretty wide margin there. And, when you throw it 57 times, even with a quarterback like Bryce Young, that's a lot. And you're down a couple of receivers on top of that. It just wasn't a favorable situation really for Alabama at any point after Jamison Williams went out.
It wasn't, no question about it. They battled, but it was just like they just didn't have enough weapons outside to gain separation. We did see Ajay Hall with his first extensive action of the season, but Travis, I hearken back to Kevin Norwood in 2011. If Alabama, with what happened to Jamison Williams, was going to win the game, what it told me was they had zero margin for error, whether it was a Cameron Latou at the goal line, ball just slipping through his fingers, almost inches from a touchdown in a tight window, or a Jai Hall on that third down play on the blitz where the ball would have been a first and goal, would have had a chance to polish off a 98-yard drive. Whatever it was, they had no margin for error offensively.
No, they didn't. And, you're right. There were a couple of drops, obviously, with Hall and Latou in the end zone. And that goes back to red zone performance, too. You look at it statistically, you see Alabama 4 for 4 in the red zone. Well, 3 of those were field goals. So Georgia has 4 trips in the red zone. They get in the zone twice. So those type of things add up in what was really a closer game than the final score indicated. So you're right. You had to take advantage of each and every one of those opportunities. You had to maximize them, get as much value out of them as you possibly could. And, unfortunately for Alabama, didn't quite get the job done down there.
You look at Alabama going forward next year. I mean, they return plenty of talent next year. No reason to think that Alabama can't do this again. But if they stay healthy, a lot of positives, though, to take away in a loss.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about guys that were asked to step up really throughout the season, not just in terms of statistical production or, on the field performance, but even intangibly. 2 of your 4 permanent team captains were sophomores, and Bryce Young and Will Anderson, and you're going to bring those guys back. And even with the news of the transfer portal on Tuesday, you feel good about the core that this team is going to bring back. Obviously, on the offensive line, the identification process for a new left tackle probably needs to start ASAP because you're assuming that Evan Neal is going to move on to the National Football League, become a top 5 pick in April's NFL draft. And so that's where it kind of starts on the offensive side. Wide receiver, pretty much adjacent to that, considering the possibilities for both Mechie and Jamison Williams, even with the knee injuries, to move on. The running back situation, you've got guys coming off injuries there as well. Brian Robinson moving on, but I know there's a lot of excitement about Jahmyr Gibbs, the Georgia Tech transfer, joining that room. Defensively at the linebacker level, inside you start with Toa and Harris and their upcoming NFL decisions. On the edge, we learned yesterday Drew Sanders has entered the transfer portal, but Dallas Turner had 8.5 sacks in his last 7 games of the 2021 season, coming back to join Will Anderson there on the outside. Fedarian Mathis is a permanent team captain that gave you double-digit tackles for loss and sacks in 2021. Intangibly, he became one of your leaders. You got to replace that, but there's you would think considerable production coming back there on that defensive front. And then, on the back end with Jordan Battle and his NFL decision and Elias Ricks coming in to join the mix at the cornerback position, Kool-Aid McKinstry back. A lot of things to consider here in the next few days. Started with the transfer portal really on Tuesday, but then, as we know, you've got your NFL deadline coming up in less than a week.
Yeah, and Travis, but as we know, you already mentioned Ricks and Jahmyr Gibbs, and while I don't think anyone was surprised to see some guys from Alabama hit the portal because that's going to happen in any program now, Sanders was the biggest name, but I would think that Alabama's not done in the portal as far as you've told us before, giveth and taketh.
Yeah, that's a revolving door. It kind of goes both ways. And so, whereas you had heard about Ricks and you had heard about Gibbs and those type of arrivals, yeah, there were going to be some departures. I'm with you on Sanders. You do bring back Will, the emergence of Dallas Turner. Braswell's still in that mix, you think. So it's still a pretty nice depth of options on the outside. But, yeah, I would be surprised if Alabama's done when it comes to the portal. Both ways. I think there's still the very real possibility of some guys looking to move on, and then, maybe in conjunction with that, and also, the self-evaluation process that we know takes place immediately for Nick Saban and his program reveals that, there's another area or two that maybe even a month ago we weren't sure we needed to go the portal route. Maybe we need to go do some shopping.
No question about it. And now, to switch gears, Alabama basketball last night showed a lot of grit, couldn't finish against what I think is the best team in the SEC, the Auburn Tigers. I'm going to give them a lot of respect. Jabari Smith, we saw the kind of performance from him, 25 points, why he's going to be a top 3 pick in the upcoming NBA draft. But Alabama had opportunities, could not. Their last 3 to 5 possessions weren't good last night. Coming off a loss to Missouri that was disturbing with this young group. But now a 2-0 start has quickly evolved into 2-2. Where do you see Alabama basketball right now?
Yeah, it's a tough one because you put yourself in a spot with that road loss at Missouri last weekend where it felt a little bit too much like a must-win situation for the fourth SEC game of the season. And that's not to say at 2-2 now, the sky is falling for Nate Oates' team. But now you look ahead to a road trip at Mississippi State on Saturday, certainly with a sense of urgency, you would think. And I'm with you. Auburn right now I haven't watched every team in the country as in-depth as I watch SEC basketball, but if there's another team playing better than Auburn right now, I'd like to see it. Outstanding play here to open SEC play, and Jabari Smith is just an impossible matchup. You saw it with Jawan Gary last night. Jawan, early foul trouble, just everybody's going to struggle with Jabari Smith, so that's not an indictment, I don't think, of Jawan Gary. It's just a testament to how talented this young guy really is. But, Auburn just got the job done, especially in the first half, in terms of playing with a pace and finishing around the rim and in transition the way it wanted to. And it was one of those nights where you felt like if Alabama didn't really get it going from 3 at some point, it was going to be tough. And they did that later in the game. And you're right, give Alabama credit. It's 73-59 there with about 8 minutes left. You thought, well, this one is pretty much a wrap, but almost in the same type of fashion as Alabama did against Tennessee in its SEC opener, tried to save the day there in the final 8 minutes, got the game tied up, and really with a minute to play, looked to be in possession of basketball, the chance to take the lead, but a 50-50 here went out Flanagan's way instead of Keon Ellis's way. Keon, maybe frustration, maybe a little bit of anxiety. He fouls Flanagan. Flanagan hit some big free throws there in the final minute. We saw on Auburn's able to get out of control with a real win on the road in the series.
Mm-hmm. And now, finally, a big road trip to Starkville, a place that Alabama's played well at times. Ben Howland's got a talented team, I would say more talented than a year ago. But really, I think what Alabama needs is a road win because the Missouri game was not good. They did play well in Gainesville, but they need to – a lot of times in conference play it can be a roller coaster ride. I remember Arkansas starting very slowly last year, Travis, and getting hot.
Oh, it can definitely happen. This team is good enough to do that. And you're right, Howland has put together a talented team like a lot of teams in the league, and you made the – comparison to potential for Alabama like Arkansas a year ago. Well, transfers are certainly a big part of things, as we know. in college basketball. But it does feel like a replacement grade situation for Alabama, especially after the road loss at Missouri. When you lose a game like that, and understanding there's no such thing as an easy SEC road game still, if we're being honest, and you look at the schedule before you get into conference play, thinking, okay, where can we find some road wins? Well, Missouri was one, the first one probably that you circled on that list. So now you got to go on the road and get one or two somewhere else. And a good place to start would be Starkville on Saturday evening for Alabama. And, it's a situation where we look at this schedule just at 10,000 feet and you consider the rematch with Auburn. But, that week that Alabama goes to Auburn midweek, Alabama plays Baylor at home on that Saturday, goes to Auburn on Tuesday, and then the following Saturday gets Kentucky at home. So that's kind of where we're at with not only SEC basketball, but basketball in the state of Alabama. It's a great place right now.
It really is. It's elite, and credit to Bruce Pearl and Jabari Smith and Auburn for getting it done. Dylan Cardwell probably the unsung hero last night. But really good stuff, Travis, as always. Great info, great insight. And let everybody know how to follow you and BamaOnline.com's coverage.
Just go to BamaOnline.com or Alabama.247sports.com. Either way will get you to us.
Thanks, Travis.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, we'll talk more transfer portal. We'll fill you in on all of it.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you. Only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. more important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
We are still looking okay accident-wise this morning. Had one or two minor wrecks around, but nothing serious. Last working accident was Greenbrier Parkway north of Highway 20. It should be wrapped up now. Snelling has new jobs for the new year. Now hiring for customer service, accounting, billers, and more. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back to Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We mentioned the transfer portal. Yesterday, Alabama saw a handful of guys go in the transfer portal. Tight end Jaleel Billingsley, quarterback Paul Theisen, linebacker Drew Sanders, offensive lineman Tommy Brown, and King Makuta. Is that right?
Yes,
King
right? Makuta.
Yeah, King Makuta in the transfer portal yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. None of it was surprising. I mean, even to a degree, Drew Sanders, just simply because I had heard a few weeks back there was a good chance that he may go. I do think he would be one guy they would want to keep. I don't. The other guys are all role guys, and I'll be honest with you. I think everybody, including myself, you and I talked about it in the stands in Lucas Oil Stadium, would help Jaleel Billingsley pack and get his ass out of town.
Do you think – I mean, we knew going into the game. There was great speculation even Saturday. We were around the team on Saturday that he was going in the transfer portal. The news in Indianapolis was already that Jaleel Billingsley was going in the transfer portal. Do you think that affected his play Monday night?
No, because he was just terrible the whole year. Let's just be blunt. He didn't have very many bright moments. He hurt the team. He can't even run a route. He couldn't block me. He's terrible. Okay? He can go to Texas or wherever the hell he goes, and he can go help Jeff Banks, his former position coach. I mean, if I were Sark, I wouldn't touch him.
You brought up Jeff Banks.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the pole assassin.
Yeah, that got a lot of conversation as well. Both monkeys.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't know. I'm just telling you that Jaleel Billingsley needed to go. He's not helping the football team at all. He's a talented guy, and that's what's the most frustrating. But Drew Sanders, I wish he would stay, but I understand. You just heard Travis Reier talk about it. 8.5 sacks for Dallas Turner. He basically lost his job. And, I mean, I was hoping he might get a look at inside backer, but I think, he wants to go somewhere where he can start, and I can understand it. He's a good football player. Somebody's going to get a really good player. But the other guys are all role guys. These are guys, and you know how much I love John Summerall. Some of these cats, like a Tommy Brown or you know, King Makuta, some of these dudes, these are guys that, you know, Coach Summerall should be getting on, and maybe they could come play for him and really contribute to a program like that. These are the kind of guys that are leaving right now.
All right, let's get out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Floyd is with us. Good morning, Floyd.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Morning,
Good.
Floyd.
Just a quick question. I know with all the transfers and everything, and I'm with you, Drew, on the Billingsley deal. He looked like he was going about half speed the whole game. But what do you think? Do you think we stand a chance? I know Coach Valai is going to Oklahoma. Do you think we can get Carl Scott back as a DB coach and recruiter?
Certainly, I would think Alabama would have a really good shot if they push for that. You know, he did a great job for Nick Saban. He listens to the right people. I think he did a good job coaching. As you know, Floyd, the whole staff and the general manager, Spielman, you know, Zimmer, all those guys were let go in Minnesota. It was the first year for Carl over there. He may try to stay in the NFL, but if Nick Saban, I think, really wants Carl Scott, I think he can go get him. He and Pete Golding are tight. They work well together with the defense. But you're talking about rumors, you know, supposedly Mario Cristobal has not gotten a DC. He wants to talk to Pete Golding. In that case, that would be a deal where, to me, if Nick Saban wants to keep Pete Golding, and I would want to at this point. I thought Coach Golding did a great job this year. Then you would give him a raise and make him understand you wanted to keep him, because it's a lateral move, and really not even a lateral move going to Miami right now. Okay?
No.
So we will see. But, again, Jay Valai, as you said, co-DC at Oklahoma. He was solid at Alabama, but he didn't close the deal in recruiting. Carl Scott did that quite a bit. So, to me, that would be an upgrade for Alabama. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he did an awesome job recruiting and with the DBs, and I knew he was with that Minnesota staff, and so I was just sort of hoping they might could get him back.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. And we've seen a lot of guys do second tours with Nick Saban. So everybody talks about how hard he is to work for, but look, you make a lot of money, you're in the best program in the country, and having him on your resume, that's why Carl Scott's in the NFL. So I would think that would be a definite possibility.
Okay. All right, that's all I got, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Floyd.
That was Floyd with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline talking about the transfer portal. Paul Tyson, obviously, I mean,
we know the story.
You want to start. He wants to play. Bryce
Right.
Young is coming back. He's not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Where is a realistic place for Paul Tyson to land?
What about a Samford? What about a Troy? I don't know what Troy and Coach Summerall's quarterback situation is, but I think the young man can play at an FCS school. I don't think he can play in the Power 5.
North Alabama?
Yeah, well, hey, exactly. As Matthew Smith texted me yesterday, Paul Tyson would look great in purple and gold.
There you go.
And that's not just for football, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, Hour 1's done. Hour 2 is going to get underway. We'll talk about the college football playoff ratings and delve into some college basketball. All that and more.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, Managing Partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Just got an injury wreck, Wall Triana and Huntsville Browns Ferry. That one's going to clog things up for a bit. Everything else looks good this morning. That's our only working accident. You be careful. We're just about to move into last-minute dash mode, and it's going to get crazy. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Overall, it's going to be a really nice Wednesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-50s, dropping into the low and mid-30s as we head into the overnight. An extremely isolated shower is going to be possible on Thursday, but at the end of the day, it does look like the vast majority of us are going to stay dry. Once again, a partly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the lower 50s, dropping into the low 30s as we head into the overnight. More cloud cover for your Friday. Highs hanging out in the mid and upper 40s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
NBA, the Hawks at home tonight. Atlanta 17-22 on the season, hosting the Heat. Atlanta a 4.5-point favorite at home, 222.5 total. Wild Card weekend underway Saturday. The latest odds for NFL MVP: Aaron Rodgers, the heavy favorite, -400. Tom Brady +400. Cooper Kupp at +2,000, and Joe Burrow at +2,500. Cameron Smith, after his record-setting win in the Century Tournament of Champions, now the odds-on favorite to win the Sony Open, underway tomorrow, +1,000. Webb Simpson and Sungjae Im at +1,600. Hideki Matsuyama and Mark Leishman each at +1,800.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, hour two of Talking Ball is underway. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We talked about the transfer portal closing hour number one. Transfer portal's not closed. A lot of guys going in the portal, a lot of guys going out of the portal. It'll be a little bit before we find out who's coming out of the portal and going where. But we did anticipate Alabama and possibly Georgia having guys going in the transfer portal simply because they played Monday night. Nobody was going to go in the transfer portal right before the national championship game. You're not going to do that.
You can't play if you do that.
Yeah, you're not going to do that. You're gonna save it. Even if you weren't playing, you're still going to go through everything and get all of the little perks of playing in the national championship game. You're going to do that. But the question is, how many people actually paid attention to the national championship game on TV? The ratings were 22.6 million viewers across all of the ESPN platforms. That is the second lowest number since the beginning of the college football playoff era, going all the way back to 2014. The viewership was up from last year's record low of 18.7 million between Alabama and Ohio State. The game was the most watched event on cable, though. since LSU's win over Clemson at the end of the 2019 season, and the most viewed non-NFL sporting event on any network in the last 2 years. So while it was down considerably from other national championship games, it still had a little bit of interest across the country. I am sure the Birmingham market and the Atlanta market were the two most watched markets of the night. Birmingham, by the way, their market is tops in college football every Saturday, no matter who is on. The Birmingham market is number one in the country when it comes to watching college football in America. So I know the Birmingham market and the Atlanta market fueled a lot of that interest.
Well, it did, and of course, a lot of the rest of America didn't want to watch the game because it's the SEC. The SEC is the best. The SEC is superior. The SEC always will be. And, you know, one of these years they're going to expand the playoff, and it's going to be 3 or 4 SEC teams at the end because the rest of everybody sucks. I mean, just live with it, understand it, and accept it.
Well, it was interesting because we talked to people in Indianapolis, and they would ask us what we are there for.
And they were more interested in the NFL.
Yeah, we would tell them, we're here for the college national championship. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard that was going on. I heard it was going on. Mm-hmm. That's what we got. That was the response that we got. Every now and then we ran into a guy yesterday at the breakfast place, the Uptown Cafe, where his brother actually coached
at Tennessee
on the Tennessee staff. So, I mean, he was very familiar with the SEC. But you're right. Everybody else was more interested in Carson Wentz posting a 4.4 quarterback rating on Sunday.
How do you do that, by the way?
Suck.
No, I'm just saying, how are you that bad?
Oh, yeah.
Against the Jacksonville Jaguars when all you have to do is win and go to the playoffs, and you're paid all this money, you wind your way out of town in Philly because you're a whiny little bitch, because that's what Carson Wentz is. And
wow.
He is. He is. If you research it,
wow.
He is a whiny little guy. He's a whiny dude. He's hard to deal with. He had 1 3/4 of a good year where he could have been MVP, but he got hurt. And guess what? I'm just going to say this. If he doesn't get hurt, the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl because he would have choked. Okay? And then they win the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, with a great football team around him. Wentz would have gagged. He would have absolutely gagged, just like he did on Sunday. Okay? He's completely overrated and overpaid. He's going to get Frank Reich fired. He's not any good. He's not an elite quarterback. He does nothing but get hurt or choke. That's all he does. And that's my NFL rant for the day.
It was interesting watching Colts fans watch that game on Sunday.
Yeah, they didn't understand my knocking at all. That kind of confused some people, I think.
It confused a lot of people because they looked at you like, what the heck are you doing?
They thought I was crazy, but hey, that's not the first time.
It won't be the last.
By the way, the boathouse was great, by the way. I like that too.
Yes. If there's one thing I can say, if you travel with us,
we are going to eat.
We're going to eat, and we're going to eat at great places. Not expensive places all the time, except for the Nest, but we're going to eat at good places. We ate at good places this trip. Last night, Alabama-Auburn meeting on the hardwood, round 1 of 2. The next one will be in the Auburn Arena, but Auburn prevails on the road last night. Brett Drinker did say go Titans because the Titans did end up with
that's pretty amazing.
Number one
we do need to,
seed in the AFC. They are on a bye this week.
We do need to talk some Titans this week. I mean, Mike Vrabel, to me, he's coach of the year. When you think about being the number 1 seed in the AFC, Scott, and you haven't had King Henry for over half the season.
Haven't had Julio for 90% of the season.
And Julio has missed the majority as well.
Yeah.
And even A.J. Brown has missed games. And this team still is the number 1 seed in the AFC and one of the favorites to reach the Super Bowl in Los Angeles or Jerry World or wherever the hell it ends up because people panic over the common cold. Then I mean, to me, Mike Vrabel is coach of the year because when you lose all those guys and you still have a chance now, is it a lock that they're going to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not.
Right.
But if they get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs, and we strongly believe that Derrick Henry is going to return. Now, we don't know what kind of shape he's going to, but if you know Derrick Henry and the way he works, he should be ready to roll.
Should be, yes.
And then you get Julio Jones, which you just mentioned, back playing in the playoffs, and an A.J. Brown, then I think the Titans have a absolutely legitimate chance. And you're playing in Nashville on your home field at Nissan Stadium, even if it's Frigid.
Frigid.
Yes.
Is the word you just spelled, yes.
Yes. Then you can – that's amazing.
All right, we'll talk more Titans as the week progresses. They are on the bye week this week. College basketball last night, Auburn gets the best of Alabama, 81-77. Jabari Smith, a season-high 25 points. Alan Flanagan, he made 4 straight free throws in the final 54 seconds. As for Alabama, Javon Quinterly, 14. Jaden Shackelford, 13. By the way, it was the first time since January 22nd of 1987 that the teams met when both were ranked. Both were ranked. 1987. That both were ranked. First time that they met.
Yeah.
I was trying to let that soak in a little bit.
No. We were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the days of Sonny Smith and Wimp. I mean, that's the last time it happened. Now they're elite. I mean, Auburn got a nice win over Alabama. I knew it was going to be a tough deal for the Tide because, I mean, as I said, Auburn's only loss was like a double overtime loss to UConn, who's got a really good team. Now Auburn has Alan Flanagan back. You just mentioned him. He had missed some time at the start of the year. He's back. He makes 4 big free throws. Jabari Smith played like Kevin Durant because that's kind of what he is. He's a unicorn. He's a very extremely hard matchup. Jawan Gary's a really good defender for Alabama, but got in foul trouble, couldn't handle him. He's just a dude that, he's going to enjoy him, Auburn fans. I certainly would. I mean, he's only going to be there 1 year because of the climate in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he's a great player. But, I mean, this is an Auburn team that's as deep as any in college basketball and has a chance to make a run for another Final Four for Bruce Pearl.
All right, here's Bruce Pearl for a second.
Look, you win in Alabama, you make history. So Jabari Smith, he made history. Alan Flanagan stepping up and making those 4 free throws late, making history. Dylan Cardwell on the block shot late, making history. Wendell Green pulling up from anywhere, making history. KD Johnson playing with those kind of efforts and energy. And as much as anything else, the Auburn family turned out. The Auburn family turned out. If y'all were here, you saw what I'm talking about. Our fans are traveling, and it is exciting.
That was a little bit of Bruce Pearl after last night's win. How about Nate Oates?
Fought hard to get back in it at the end, but you got to give Auburn a lot of credit. I mean, that's a hard playing, tough group. I got a lot of respect for them. I told our guys, they've lost 1 game all year. It was a tight one. I mean, they're close to being like top 3 in the country. So we needed to play maybe our best game of the year to win that one. We didn't. Gave ourselves a chance there late. We didn't execute like we needed to down the stretch on a few things, but a lot to learn from. There's a few positives. I thought got pretty good play out of Darius Miles. JD played well for us there late. We were plus 11 when he was in the game. So, we didn't shoot the ball well. A lot of that's due to Auburn's defense. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. Our 3 starting guards, I think, went and combined 9 for 38. So they did a great job on them. And, we didn't get enough.
Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl after last night's game. For Auburn, it is to Ole Miss. For Alabama, it's Mississippi State.
Yeah, and Auburn is the best team in the SEC. I had a strong feeling about that. We're going to talk to Chris Lee in a few minutes of Southeastern 14 and ask him about it. Very, very astute basketball guy, really SEC guy. That's a great friend of the show. Covers also the publisher, of course, of VandySports.com as part of the Rivals Network, but still.
And Vandy ran into a buzzsaw last night
they
against
lose in
Kentucky.
Memorial Gym.
Yeah, with no students, by the way.
Oh, that great, yeah. By the way, we're driving through Nashville, and we got to remember that. No students at the game.
No students, but the students can buy tickets and come to the game on their own, but there's no student section at a Vanderbilt game right now.
I'm not even going to comment on that. That is just asinine. That's all I'll say. I mean, I feel bad for the students. I don't know why they're not there, being able to enjoy their experience. But again, I just think overall when you look at it, Kentucky is they're in the top 3 in the SEC. They're an outstanding team, but they don't have Jabari Smith. They don't have a 7-footer like Walker Kessler. Kentucky doesn't even have the depth of Auburn.
Walker Kessler had a bad off game last night.
Yeah, he got in foul trouble.
But
that's why Cardwell stepped up.
Yeah.
And then Jabari Smith was huge. Auburn has got a big basketball team. They're really good. And so I think I definitely think they're a Final Four caliber, number 1 seed caliber team. And so you can't hang your head if you're Alabama and you fight like that and you nearly win the game. After, as you heard Travis Reier say, being down 73-59. You didn't quite finish it, but they're still fighting for their coach. I mean, I know I was getting messages last night, people frustrated with Nate Oates, frustrated with the team. Look, you have to ride it out, man.
Yeah.
They're going to figure this thing out. They're talented. I still think they could be a top 4 or 5. I still think they're a top 4 or 5 team in the SEC. It's just they're not as good as Auburn. Let's just be honest with that.
You can look at it and say, you know what? Alabama fans may be frustrated right now, but Arkansas fans have to be pulling their hair out. The Razorbacks are 0-3.
And the Razorbacks started like this last year.
Yeah, they're 0-3 to start SEC play. Arkansas.
And then they got it rolling. Now we'll see if they do this year. But again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. There's a lot of basketball to be played. You're playing 18 games. And so you just got to you don't want to go on prolonged losing streaks. You need to stop the bleeding. And that's what Alabama needs to do at Mississippi State. And then, Ole Miss, Kermit Davis, what a great guy. And they got a big win over Mississippi State last week, their rival. But, man, unenviable task taking on the Auburn Tigers.
If I told you at the beginning of conference play in basketball that there would be 3 SEC teams winless after their first couple games, you would have probably penciled in Vanderbilt.
Yeah, but they got a dub at Arkansas.
Right. That's not the one of the other 3. Mm-hmm. Georgia.
Oh, they're terrible.
Florida and Arkansas are all off to winless starts in the
Florida
SEC.
and Arkansas are surprising. Georgia's not. They're
Florida's 2 losses, 1 Alabama and 2 Auburn. That's where their 2 conference losses.
And Florida and Mike White, they played a tough early schedule.
Yeah.
But I mean, but Georgia, they are. Everybody was saying Missouri's the worst team in the league. No. It's Georgia. They're not very good. We met Tom Crean when we went over to Atlanta when I was with Huntsville High. He was over there watching basketball. He probably needs to get ready to do his next analyst gig because he's gonna be gone. He's lived off Dwayne Wade for a long time.
Yeah.
He had one good little two-year run at Indiana where he got a number 1 and they fell flat. His time is gone. It's come and gone. He's not an elite coach, and Georgia wasted a lot of money.
Georgia wasted a lot of money.
Yeah, maybe he needs to go back to his mentor and work for Tom Izzo as an assistant. I just don't see it.
That's right. That is where I forgot. That's where he came from. All right, 256-576-4977. That is the number of the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Oh, Kayvon Thibodeaux. Have you heard this yet?
No.
All right, Jabari.
Oh, I gotta play this for you because I heard this the other day, and it is something that probably is going to drive you crazy. Kayvon Thibodeaux was on the national championship coverage and went on to say Oregon set him up for success better than Alabama.
You a fishing pole, would you know how to use it?
No, I don't fish.
You don't fish. So if I've never learned, or if school has never been important to me, or a job or a career has never been important until I was done playing football, how would I know how to go get a career or a job?
That's a great point.
I won't.
I think it's been one of my arguments for a long time that we don't have mandatory financial planning classes in, like
and it's not even,
for every kid in college football, they should be in classes that teach them how to operate their finances and things of that.
You know what I sat back and I thought about? And I said, what world do I want to be a part of? Literally, I sat back and said, if I go to Alabama, I'm going to win national championships. Literally. I said, but do I want to be a guy who's known to be a national championship winner? Or do I want to be a guy who's known for being a part of the greatest organization in the world? You know what I mean? And what people don't realize is that football is an American sport. So no matter how great Alabama is, we only play football in America and maybe Canada and a couple other places. But a brand like Nike, I mean, for me, it was like, what brand associations do I want to be tied to?
Sure.
You know what I mean? And for me, I already hate the stigmatism of football players being dumb jocks.
Totally.
So now, do you know what the stigmatism of Alabama education? It ain't the West Coast.
No.
You know what I mean? It ain't, it ain't Harvard.
I
so
hear
for
you.
me, I have to look at it and say, I'm only going to be in college for 3 years. Like I said, if I would have went to Alabama, I probably would still be there, and we wouldn't be sitting here today. 2, I probably wouldn't have graduated yet. And 3, I don't know if my degree would mean anything. And there's no guarantee. I think Oregon might be the only place where you are guaranteed, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but there is a 90% chance that if you want to, a Nike opportunity is there. And there's a guarantee that if you play football at Oregon, you can work in the corporate Nike world. That's a guarantee.
Kayvon Thibodeaux.
That's one of the
harsh
stupidest takes that I have ever heard in my life. Because there's nobody that prepares a young man to go out into the real world, not just as a football player, but as a person and with job opportunities than Nick Saban. He brings in speaker after speaker, financial advisors to teach you how to do things, to prepare you, the network you have at Alabama when you graduate. And I don't know, because Kayvon, I can tell he's not a well-read young man, because he obviously doesn't understand how many graduates. Alabama has set record after record for number of graduates when they get to the college football playoff.
Didn't take Mac Jones long to get his degree.
He basically insulted the Alabama education and said it wasn't very good. And all I know is he just said the West Coast was a better place to learn. That is the ultimate. Okay, guys, I'm putting this right here, and it's going to be tough to beat this. Kayvon Thibodeaux, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is the leader in the clubhouse for the moron of the year for the next year. Going to be tough to beat that. That soundbite was the stupidest in the history of this show, and just shows that I'm glad Kayvon Thibodeaux. Let me just tell you something, Kayvon. I'm glad we didn't sign you, because how many rings do you have? You've got 0, pal. 0. And you know what? You'll probably never win a Super Bowl either, dude, because I wouldn't want you as part of my organization, because your takes suck. You obviously don't have a clue what you're talking about. And I'll just say it on the show. I think everybody knows why you really ended up in Oregon, okay? Wanting to be a Duck. I mean, you better be glad NIL's around now, because if they went back and looked at it and your recruitment, you probably wouldn't even have been eligible anyway because of how much money you took, okay? Let's just be blunt about that, brother. If you want to insult the state of Alabama, I'll insult you. You were bought and paid for, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, he did. He insulted everyone in the state of
and
Alabama.
And he's a great player, by the way. I'm not questioning his talent. He may go number 1 in the draft. He will go top 5 lock, okay? No question he can play. He's one of the best defensive players in the country. But as far as if I wanted him in a foxhole, no. He's dumb as rocks. I'm sorry. I mean, that take there, insulting the state of Alabama and the education, saying the degree means nothing. I mean, give me a break.
And that he would still be in school because of the education level.
Oh, I don't know. Again, we have so many guys at Alabama in this state that go to the university that graduate early and already have their degrees. For one, you saw some guys in the transfer portal like Tommy Brown. Great guy. He's already got his degree going to the next place. Paul Tyson, he's going somewhere else. Everybody knows what family he's a part of. He's going to another school, but he's already got a degree. There's nobody that has a better infrastructure than Alabama. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's a Rolls-Royce, Alabama, and a Pinto at Oregon. You can't compare the two organizations in football programs. How many national championships has Oregon ever won?
0.
Exactly.
They've played for
0.
1, 2. They played for 2.
Yeah, and Auburn whipped them. 0.
Ohio State whipped them.
Now, I guess while Kayvon was there, they did win some Pac-12s. But you know what? Nobody cares because you can't compete with an SEC school. If you play one, you will be embarrassed. Matter of fact, Kayvon, if you played against Alabama, you probably wouldn't record a tackle, bro, because you'd be lined up over Evan Neal, and he would absolutely become the number 1 pick in the draft because he would put you in the wall.
That's good.
This would be like Michael Orr in The Blind Side. He would put you in the wall, bro.
It's time to go home. It's time to go home. Let's get a break in. It's time to bring Chris Lee in. I told you the comments were outlandish.
Moron of the year.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Wall, Triana, and Browns Ferry, Huntsville Browns Ferry, is our only working accident. That one reported as an injury type. Should be about ready to clear up. Everything else looks good. We got a lot of folks in last-minute dash mode this morning. You be careful on that trip in. The Somnodent from Dr. Sandman's an easy-to-use oral device. No mask, no hose. And insurance accepted for sleep apnea and for snoring. 350-CARE or RandallSandlin.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye, Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000-square-foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
All right, 8:30 on a Wednesday morning. I want to say Monday because it's the first show back here in the state of Alabama this week. Monday morning, we are back at it. Wednesday morning. Here we go. Let's do this again. Welcome back to Talking Ball, Wednesday edition of Talking Ball here, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Let's talk some college basketball. We did a little bit before Kayvon Thibodeaux provided us with the best entertainment that we have seen since, well, I don't know when, but college basketball. Alabama-Auburn last night. Great matchup. If you look at some of the other scores from last night on a Tuesday night, Kentucky gets the best of Vanderbilt, 78-66. 22nd ranked Tennessee over South Carolina, 66-46. And Texas A&M downs Ole Miss, 67-51. Texas A&M, by the way, 14-2, 3-0 to start SEC play.
Yeah, no doubt. And there's no question. I think Auburn is the best team in the SEC. I think the SEC is probably one of the top 2 leagues in the country. But our next guest with Southeastern 14 does a great job. Also, we talked about VandySports.com, part of the Rivals Network. He's been a great friend to us. And, I always tell the story of ironically meeting him at the SEC tournament. And it's been, awesome to develop the relationship since that time. But he's been good enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this morning, and that is the editor and publisher, Chris Lee. Chris, welcome back to Huntsville with Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Hey, it's always fun to join you guys, and certainly it's going to be a lot of fun as we get into what looks like a really good SEC basketball season.
Really, it really is. And I want to also laud you and Blake of doing the videos. The YouTube stuff's really good. I know you keep expanding it and continuing to develop this Southeastern 14, but you guys do a great job. And I wanted to just ask you about, piggybacking off of what I just said. I know it's very early, Chris. We're only 3 or 4 games in, but how strong is the SEC in your mind?
I think it's really strong. I know the narrative is out there now that it might be the best league in the country. I don't know that I'd go that far yet. The Big 12 has had so much history, and the Big 10 has been right there with them right now. I think Sagarin, last I checked, had the league third. In fact, that's where it's got them right now, behind those 2 leagues. But certainly it's a good league. You've got a maybe best team in the country at the top of the heap in Auburn. Kentucky is starting to round into form a little bit. Tennessee's going to be good. LSU has really surprised everybody. Alabama, I still think, is a good team, despite some of the issues at times. Mississippi State, I want to see what happens with that bunch when the schedule gets a little tougher. And you got some teams like Ole Miss and Missouri and Vandy that have popped up at times and bitten people. South Carolina even, and we haven't even talked about Florida or Arkansas. So, I've gone through practically the whole league. I think it's telling that you can look at this league from almost top to bottom and find something interesting. And I think the top half of the league is as strong as it has been in a long time. I'd probably have to go back 15 years to when Billy Donovan was in his heyday at Florida. And I think the league might be deeper now than it is then, or than it was then.
We look at who's setting the early tone in the SEC. Right now, Auburn, I know Kentucky's playing decent, but Auburn right now clearly playing probably the best ball entering conference play.
Yeah, I've watched that team for a while and felt like for 3 weeks now this was the best team in the league. And it wasn't clear coming into the season because you had 5 or 6 teams in that discussion, and I watched them. Having a hard time finding where there's a weakness with this team. I think I might have found it last night, and that Wendell Green, although he's an electric player at times, also maybe he's shown the capability to shoot them out of games, which I think that left a window open for Alabama last night. But certainly this is a really good team, great guard play, probably the best big man tandem in the league. There's a little depth there. Dylan Cardwell came off the bench and really helped them out when Kessler got in foul trouble. But I think this is a phenomenal team, certainly deserving of a 1 seed if the field will pick today.
Chris, I think that's where I think this Auburn team separates itself, is what you just mentioned, is the depth.
Yeah. You got Jalen Williams
yes.
coming off the bench. You've got Alan Flanagan, who's been in the background, a good bit of the time. We thought he might be their best player coming into the year, and I know that's been health. But to me, sometimes when you get an injury like that, it allows your team to get stronger because it gets other people experience. It thrusts them in the spotlight to have to make plays where they're maybe not used to doing it. And I think that injury is the quintessential what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think Auburn is reaping the benefits of that right now.
Jabari Smith, obviously.
Wow.
Hey, man, we knew he was going to be talented coming in. And Auburn fans, like Drew said earlier in the show, better get used to him because he's just going to be there for 1 year.
Tremendous, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that the Kevin Durant comps dropped, and anytime you hear those kind of comps to a Hall of Famer, the first reaction is pump the brakes, but then you watched him play last night. I don't know that that's inaccurate at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. He's just such a unicorn and a matchup nightmare. And even with Walker Kessler getting in foul trouble, and he's had a great impact. It's coming over from Carolina. Cardwell picks it up. Smith elevates his game. Auburn is just tough. Wendell Green coming off the bench is kind of a sixth-man assassin. There's no doubt. Now, Alabama, Nate Oates, they got off to a promising start. They beat Gonzaga. They beat Houston. Then they hit a pothole against Memphis, but they responded. They win the first 2 conference games. The Missouri game was disturbing. They lose that one. I attribute that really to youth, just like the Memphis game, learning how to win. This was a really tough matchup last night. I knew it was going to be tough, even in Coleman Coliseum, to beat this Auburn team. I still think Alabama is among maybe the top 4 to 5 best teams in the SEC. I'm still not completely sold on LSU, Chris, because I don't think they played a great out-of-conference schedule, and I think the SEC is going to be a grind. but where do you see Alabama right now?
I think Alabama's one of those teams that by season's end is probably in that 3 to 5 seed range. I think their guards are too good. I watch them at times, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. I say that. I mean, it's 3-point shooting, and it's J.D. Davison is just so inconsistent. But last night, that kid really stepped up and has played better. He had 4 assists, 1 turnover, and 1 monstrous dunk last night. You see teams a lot of times in January, guys, that don't look like tournament teams at all, and then they get into February, and the pieces start to fit together, and it clicks. And I think if I'm Alabama, away from last night is, they didn't win the game, and I know that hurts, but you saw some little signs of some things with Davison. The threes got to start falling for them, and I think they're a better 3-point shooting team than they are. I think they're ranked 246 in the country right now. I don't think Alabama is the 246th best 3-point shooting team. So I look at this and I see a team that's been tested. I see some things that are starting to work for them a little bit. You come off what happened in Columbia, and that's inexcusable. But I believe in Nate Oates. I believe in their talent. They're not going to contend for the league title. That's going to be Auburn's to lose. Right. But, if this team starts to put it together in late February, early March, I don't think that you can say you'd be surprised.
Yeah, rebounding and defense is the words Nate Oates keeps using on this team. They got to get better in those areas to continue to have success.
Yeah, and their defense has been pretty good. I think they're, 9th in KenPom they're 54th, 9th on offense. So, I think there is something to that. I mean, they're capable defending, but yes, there have been lapses, and Missouri is certainly one that just sticks out like a sore thumb because I don't know Missouri could put up 92 points against anybody. To see that, I think, was a shock.
It was, no question about it. But I will say what I equated it to, and you bringing up January, but then getting hot, developing into a team, and then they went to the Elite Eight. I don't know if they'll do it this year, but once again, they're starting slow, and that's Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm hearing Arkansas has got some chemistry issues. And that's really the only thing that makes sense when you see a team that plays the way it does, given the talent it's got. I mean, look, guys, they've got J.D. Notae could lead the league in scoring. Devontae Davis was a good player for them last year who's disappeared. Chris Likes was a really good player at Miami. Stanley Amude was, I think, I don't know if he was the player of the year in the Summit, but he was a 22-point a game kind of guy who did other things. Connor Vanover's helped them at times. Jalen Williams and all these Tony are good players. I mean, I don't get what's happening with them, but the best explanation is when you see a team like that, such a disconnect between what they have and what they're doing, you think chemistry, and I'm starting to hear a little bit of that. I don't know exactly what it means, but they'd better get it together really quickly because the easier part of their schedule is the front half of the SEC. They didn't bank much out of conference, and if they don't get it right soon, it's going to be too late to earn an NCAA tournament bid. And frankly, I just don't know at this point if they can do it.
Very interesting.
Wow.
And we're talking to Chris Lee, Southeastern 14. Chris, what I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Commodores. They got a nice win in Fayetteville at Bud Walton Arena, which was huge for them. They did a nice job over in Hawaii. They beat a good BYU team. I think they're better, but they did run into the Kentucky buzzsaw last night. And I'll ask you about both. Kentucky, your impressions of them, and we've talked to you about Vanderbilt being a big-time rebuild. Where is Jerry Stackhouse's squad this year?
Let's hit Kentucky first. I think the injury to Wheeler really opened the door for Ty Washington, who's had a couple of really good games in a row. I think he broke the school record against Georgia for assists. Oscar Tshiebwe has been a phenomenal player for them, and I think the player of the year, if you stopped the season today, and I don't know how much debate there would really be about that at this point. I think Jabari Smith would be in there too, but Tshiebwe has just pulled down such monster rebounding numbers that it's hard to ignore. Kellen Grady has started to come into his own and hit some shots after a slow start. That's a team to me that if you just saw the box score last night, you saw a 12-point win. you might think, Vandy kept it close for a while. No, they didn't. That was a 13-point game at halftime. It was a 28-point lead until Vanderbilt scored the last 16 points of the game. That's a team that looks to me, and Vandy's not the best place to judge, but looks to me a little bit like it is starting to put some pieces together. Vandy. Don't have the talent, guys. Scottie Pippen Jr., far and away their best player. He was not Jerry Stackhouse's recruit, although Jerry did, I guess, keep him in the fold when he took the job, although I don't think there were a ton of people knocking down his door at that point. Look, you've got to recruit in this league. The effort's not been there. You can see it now. To his credit, he did bring in Liam Robbins and Rodney Chapman, who would have both helped him a lot. Robbins hasn't played a minute this year because of a foot injury. He led the Big Ten in blocks last year, would really have helped them last night. I don't know that he's going to play a minute this year. I just happen to wonder about that. Rodney Chapman, the Dayton transfer, has really been a spark plug for them that transcends the stat sheet. He's a really good perimeter defender, which they don't have a lot of. He has been out the last 2 games. They've lost both of those. He was a big key in them winning at Arkansas. This could get ugly for them pretty quickly unless they get healthy quickly, which I don't think is going to happen. Memorial Gym, I'm sure you guys have been there before. That used to be the toughest place to play, maybe in college basketball.
Right.
They had about 3,500 there for South Carolina Saturday. They banned their own students from attending games, and they were getting ripped on Twitter for that.
Rightfully so, though. I'm sorry. I just got to add that.
You're right. I mean, and their fans feel the same way. I've heard, and I watched that one from home last night. I had a writer there because I wanted to watch some other games too. They had, what I was told, maybe 8,000 or 9,000 fans in the gym, which is unthinkable. Used to be unthinkable for an SEC game, certainly for Kentucky, and it was over 50% Kentucky, maybe 2/3. Watching a basketball program that's just dying on the vine. And I don't know what they're going to do about it, but they need to do something quickly.
Well, Mike White last year got a lot of heat for the Florida Gators. Off to an 0-2 start right now is Florida. But those 2 games, Alabama and Auburn, tough way to start conference play. But 500 probably would have looked a lot better than 0-2. Mike White seems to get his teams to play better as the season goes along.
Yeah.
But he also faces a lot of criticism every year. Is he the right guy for the Florida job? It looks like going to have to answer those questions again.
You know, Mike White has won everywhere he's been. He did a really underrated job at Louisiana Tech, and I know that doesn't register for most people, but I think there's something to be said for a guy who wins consistently. It's a quality that you don't appreciate till it's gone, and you can ask Vanderbilt about that with Kevin Stallings. I don't know what to think of this team at times because had the inexplicable loss to Texas Southern, coming off the Oklahoma loss after they played so well and beaten Ohio State. Frankly, I like the way they played against Auburn. I thought Colin Castleton did about as good a job against their bigs as anybody's done all year. They have some depth and athleticism at guard. They'll get after you. On that team, I wouldn't put any amount of money on it either, but the way they played Auburn, I was impressed with. Now, they've got LSU, and I don't think you want to play LSU anywhere right now. You win that one, you get a little momentum, then you go to South Carolina, which is a winnable game. Then you host Mississippi State and Vanderbilt and go to Ole Miss, all winnable games. I think, to me, Saturday is interesting for them, or Wednesday is interesting, because if they beat LSU, maybe you can build on some of the things you did against Auburn and go on a little bit of a run where the schedule certainly eases up compared to what they've seen at times and will have ahead.
No question about it. And then I guess just a real quick comment from you, Chris. I know you guys, because you cover the gamut, but the SEC flexing its muscle again. Georgia, the national champion. Alabama, the runner-up. But I don't see this changing. If they expand this playoff, I think the SEC is going to continue to dominate.
It will. I don't think that'll change it. I do think the expanded playoff will make the regular season more interesting and maybe get some more participation from these outside the top 4 teams, which I think college football really needs. All the talk's been on Georgia, and for all the right reasons. But to me, I think the thing that was telling, Alabama was in a rebuilding year. You watched them, and I think Nick Saban did a phenomenal job. But they weren't what they've been at running back. They weren't what they've been at receiver when the injuries settled in. The offensive line struggled. The defensive line didn't have household names. Now, Will Anderson made up for a lot of ills on that side, but they didn't have a lockdown corner like they had most years either. And at the end of all that, Alabama going toe-to-toe with Georgia until the last few minutes. And I just think, to me, as much as what Georgia did, seeing Alabama in what's a down year for Alabama, no disrespect meant, that's just a testament to what they've done and how tough the league is. When you can go in and it's not classic Alabama and still get within a hair's breadth of a national title, to me, that might have been as big a story as anything that happened, with just the way that Alabama was able to get so close to winning another one in what, again, was not a typical Nick Saban team. That, to me, was just amazing.
Great stuff, Chris. Outstanding insight. We look forward to connecting with you throughout this basketball season in the SEC. Let everybody know how to follow you and all the great work you and Blake do.
Yeah, most of our stuff is posted at southeastern14.com. Where we're doing a lot of our stuff right now is on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and find Southeastern 14, we've been doing a lot of basketball content where everybody else is focused on football. We've done our share of football stuff, too. I had power rankings for that yesterday. We're going to do some Player of the Year stuff. That'll be on YouTube, too. But as soon as I'm done with this, Blake Lovell and I are about to do another video podcast recapping what we saw last night. We've got picks for tonight up, and we'll do another recap tomorrow, and then look Friday to the weekend game. So if you really want to get locked in on SEC basketball, I think right now we are covering it more than anybody at Southeastern 14.
You really are. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Good stuff there, Chris Lee with us, and he's right. Vanderbilt should be just blasted for not allowing their students into the games. All right, let's get a break in. We got to wrap this hour up.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Winding things down quickly now. Last-minute dash folks trying to get in on time. You just be careful if you're in that last-minute group. Accident-wise, Wall, Triana, and Huntsville Browns Ferry was our last one. It should be about ready to clear. Have you tried numerous weight loss plans? Nothing seems to work. Odds are your hormones are the problem. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you. Only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Carrier Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Time does keep on slipping into the future. And our day is literally just about done as we are about ready to put the wraps on a Wednesday edition of Talking Ball. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, right here bright and early. Friday morning, we will be live from Bill Penny Toyota, sitting out in the service department. So come on out and join us as we get you ready for another weekend of big-time basketball. One note, though, to pass along. There will be no UAH women's basketball Thursday and Saturday, just the men's games on Thursday and Saturday. However, the women will be back on the court on Tuesday. So UAH going through a little bit of scheduling changes there. UAH men's games will be 7:30 and 4. The women's game will be Tuesday at 4 next week.
Got an announcement on this show. Congratulations to Connor Neighbors has become the head strength coach at Louisiana. Congratulations to Wesley Neighbors, associate head coach, outside linebackers, the Raging Cajuns. He's staying put.
So there you go. That's going to do it for our Wednesday edition of Talking Ball. I got it right. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning. I know John Schulman will join us. He's probably going to say I can stay away from them as long as I want to because they crushed it on the road Saturday against Shorter. And 108 points, I believe, or 106 points.
Yeah.
They crushed it. Steve and I were not there, and they looked really good. So he'll probably say just stay away forever.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey.